Hi, we're Quaint and Curious Volumes. My name is James, and a specter is haunting booktube. It is the specter of annoyance. Yes, my friends, everywhere I look, I see sunny booktubers like Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading, or the mild mannered Aaron Facer spouting off about things that annoy them. Something's going on. In fact, Aaron Facer tagged me for this tag, the annoying book bookish annoyances. The I'm this annoys me tag. I'll have to look it up before I post this, I guess. Anyway, there's a tag going about in which you talk about things about books that are a little annoying to you. So I enjoyed both Aaron's and Kelly's versions of this tag, so I'm going to do my own. And thank you, Aaron, for tagging me. So, to begin, do publishers ever do things that you find annoying? Share an example. Well, I will say the price of books, especially new books, especially new hardcovers, is extremely annoying. Share an example. I don't think I need to. I think if you're on here, you are familiar with the ruinous prices that they charge for new books. So I do find that annoying. Here's another one, and this is, I think, maybe what the tag is getting at. So I have a Folger Shakespeare Library trade paperback of Twelfth Night here, and when I was reading through Shakespeare last year, I bought some of the plays I didn't have, and I had a hard time finding a good used copy of Cymbeline, so I got this new one from Folger Shakespeare Library. They're both trade paperbacks, but this Twelfth Night, it's got a sort of matte cover and some decent quality paper, whereas Cymbeline has a shiny cover, like a grocery store paperback, in this sort of newsprinty Scholastic Book Fair quality paper, and I don't like it. It's cheap. Well, I mean, this book was $9.99, brand new cover price, but so was this. So why is this made so cheaply? I don't care for it. Um, have you ever been annoyed by a spoiler, even something as simple as someone telling you there's a great twist? And I will say, yes, but I'm not that put off by spoilers. A book is a long thing. You're going to spend several hours. It has to have more in it than, the 30-second frisson of, "Whoa, didn't expect that." And if a book is only good because of that, it's probably not a very good book. I think I have more of an issue with spoilers in movies or some television shows. Um, and even then, I mean, I don't watch that many of those anymore, but, when I was a big fan of The Wire, I one time I watched it after it had finished airing, and I was reading something about it, and it gave away a major plot point about a favorite character, and that kind of bummed me out a little bit, that I knew that a certain thing was going to happen to a certain someone. Um, but I still liked it. I still got a lot out of watching the show. I was still actually surprised when it happened, because I didn't know when it was going. Anyway, whatever. Sometimes a twist will be very obvious, and you will. I'm not the kind of person who, if you tell me there's a big twist in this, I'm going to sit there saying, "Let me see if I can figure this out. I'm going to outsmart them." I more tend to. I'm going to take the ride. I'm going to say, "All right, lead me where you're going to lead me," and if I'm supposed to be surprised, maybe I'll be surprised. Maybe I'll figure it out and foreseen it. Maybe not. But I'm not trying to solve the mystery ahead of the detective or anything like that. Have you ever been annoyed by what you discovered in a little free library, a book sale, or a used bookstore? Tell us what you found and why it was so annoying. I've been disappointed to go to a little free library and find it empty because someone had taken everything. That hasn't happened to me for a while. There was a period where the little free libraries in my neighborhood were getting kind of regularly raided by someone, and probably eventually they realized that it was an awful lot of work and driving around for a very small amount of money in trade credit at Ed McKay's. So that hasn't been a problem lately. In fact, there's been more of a problem with people not taking stuff out of little free libraries, and so they will get kind of overstuffed and difficult to look through. But when I go, I hardly ever find things that I'm interested in, but I look through them, and I usually try to tidy them up a bit if I think they need it, even if I'm not taking something. Sometimes people just cram a bunch of magazines in one, which I think is rather ill-mannered. When it comes to short story collections, are you annoyed if there's a novella in the middle of the collection? I'm assuming this doesn't include like omnibus volumes like a complete Sherlock Holmes where it's a bunch of stories and then a study in Scarlet in the middle of it, or a collection of works. But I've been trying to think if I even can recall an example of it, and I really can't. So I guess, and I can't think of why it would be annoying. So I'm going to say, no, it does not annoy me. It hasn't happened. I guess if it was a really bad novella in the middle, that would be annoying. Let's see. Deckled edges, beautiful or annoying? I will say a little of both. Most of the time, beautiful, not a problem for me. But you want to flip through and see where the next chapter is or something like that, or you want to flip back. Annoying. But most of the time, beautiful. Most of the time, really, don't care. Other people's annotations in a used book or library book, annoying or are you okay with it? In a used book, some annotations is okay. Highlighting, I'm going to pass on that. In a library book, barbaric. That's not your book. Other people are going to use it. Don't do that. That is I think that's just rude, and it's akin to pissing on a bookstore, which, as Tom Waits' character in The Fisher King said, we're heading for social anarchy when people start pissing on bookstores. Next prompt. If there's a series or collection of certain kinds of books, like an imprint, and changes are made, or are you annoyed or okay with it? If yes, give an example. You mean something like this? Yeah, a little bit. I'm a little annoyed by it. Not that these things ever really line up on your shelf anyway. But yeah, a little bit. It's not different enough as some of the previous changes, but it's still, yeah. I guess I am a little annoyed by it. Okay, do the decisions of characters in a novel ever annoy you? Share the book and what decisions you found annoying. I will say to this that there is no literature without annoying decisions. Practically all of our great works of literature are based on annoying, nonsensical decisions. Going back to the Iliad, to the Trojan War. What was that about? Exactly. King Lear. A wise old king. He'd made it to that age, fought battles, defeated foes in feudal conflict, and comes up with his completely cockamamie scheme at the end of his life. Very annoying. Everything anyone ever does in a Sally Rooney novel. Come on. Yeah. So, yeah, everything in literature is a series of annoying decisions. Here's one that a specific thing I'm going to say. Robinson Crusoe. We know roughly what happens to Robinson Crusoe. He's on a sea voyage. Why is he on that sea voyage? He's an Englishman who is in South America, and he's decided to establish a plantation. He's looking around. He's saying, none of these other plantations seem to have any slaves. You know, it would really make us a lot more money if we had some slaves around here. I will go to Africa and get some slaves and bring them over here. Not only will I make money from working these slaves, but I'll be the first one to sell slaves to the other plantation owners. I'll corner the market for a while. I'll be rich. So he's on his boat. There's a storm. He lands on an island. He doesn't get to go and get his slaves. A lot of other things happen. He learns a valuable lesson from this. At a certain point, he's thinking, this was really foolish of me. I was too greedy trying to do this. Not because he's like, it would have been wrong to import all these slaves, but because someone else would have eventually brought some slaves over that he could have bought, and he still would have made a ton of money. That's the lesson that Robinson Crusoe gleans from this. You got to shake your head about some people. You don't always want to judge people, fictional characters from hundreds of years ago, by the standards of today, but whoo boy, it's hard to relate to that. Okay, are you ever annoyed by how someone organizes their books? What do you find annoying? I generally don't mind how other people... Sometimes, as you can probably see, I don't have a ton of shelf space. Sometimes I film going the other way, so you see another bookshelf. But I don't have a lot of space on my bookcases. And sometimes I'll have something in there in a way that does annoy me, and it'll just kind of like gnaw at me from the corner of my eye until I go and move it. It's just something misaligned or sticking out, or a book that's too tall sticking up from the other ones. Since I have so little space, I do, as you can see, store a lot of books transverse, so I generally don't have that anymore because I like to keep them on a nice even plane so then I can stack them like... this is the kind of stupid obsessiveness that I assume you come to this channel for. Okay, share something bookish that you find annoying. This isn't... this is something that I see a lot on in booktube talks, and don't mean to criticize anyone at all, but I see a lot of people who will hold up, be talking about a TBR or a bunch of books they've gotten that they plan to read. Usually it's in the context of a TBR, and they'll say something like, guys, I'm going to read the 42nd parallel. I know, everyone's read it. I should have read it long ago. I'm finally going to get to this. No one's judging you. There's a lot of books. You can't read everything. Most of you can't read everything. Some of you, yes, we all know who can, but most of us can't. And while you weren't reading the 42nd parallel, you were reading Cymbeline. Were you not supposed to read that so you could read the 42nd parallel? Then you wouldn't have read Cymbeline, and you'd be on there going, guys, this month I'm going to try and finally read Cymbeline. I know, everyone has read Cymbeline but me. I'm a bad booktuber. No, you're not. You're living your life. Maybe you've been doing other things. Maybe you've been out riding your bicycle for 12 hours a day. That's a worthwhile activity as well. And eventually you get into reading books and you're like, can you believe I haven't read Tess of the D'Urbervilles? Yeah, I can. Most people haven't. At least you know what it is, and you got an interest in it. So, that's how I feel about that. Now I gotta tag some people, and I've knocked my piece of paper onto the ground. Excuse me a moment. Let me bring this over around here so we can visit with Louise. Hey baby, how you doing? So, who do I want to tag? Again, thanks Aaron Facer for tagging me. Yeah, I'm just going to talk to the people. There you go. I want to tag Nicole at Noteworthy Fiction. She left a comment on one of my videos, and I checked out her channel. It's really good, guys. Uh, so, oh, look at that. Another new booktuber who I met in MJ's new booktuber channel discussion the other day. That is The Limitless Librarian. I don't know your name. I watched some of your videos. I don't think you say what your name is. But The Limitless Librarian, she's a 24-year-old Aussie bookish mathematician, also a rare booktuber who is visually impaired. She reads a lot of things that I don't read, but she's got a cool channel and a neat way of presenting things. So give that channel a peek if you like, as MJ would say. I will also tag a Book Chat with Pat, another new booktuber. And she comments on a lot of my videos, and she's got her own channel. It's pretty new and really good. She's an English teacher, a retired English teacher. I don't. This might be a little bit too negative for her, but she's been reading for a long time. I'm sure she's got plenty of pet peeves if she wants to share them. And another new booktuber who's doing pretty well, Mild Rumpelstein, the Mild Rumpus. There you go. He's got a very fun channel. He also has a dog. His dog is not as good as my dog. There, I said it. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.